As the only person in my friend group who has an understanding on how to host Minecraft servers, it's usually my responsibility to host them. I'm always the one that spends the most time on the server. I'm the one that gets diamond first. I'm the one that gets netherite first. I build the huge farms first. And I'm burnt out first. I always feel like I'm missing something when it comes to Minecraft. How do all these YouTubers have spectacular, amazing builds? But when it comes to my builds, I feel like I'm just missing something. When it comes to my servers, I feel like I'm missing something. I compare my servers to Hermitcraft, Lifesteal SMP, the Empire's SMP, these phenomenal servers with huge player bases, with constantly active content creators, and I look at myself and I ask, why can't I do that? What's the difference between me and them? I try to replicate the magic that all those SMPs and worlds have, but to no avail. At first, I blamed the people around me. Nobody has the same drive as me. They all are lacking creativity. They burn out so quickly, they play so slowly, things that I blame them for traits that I think I have that are better than them. I felt like this because when I was building my first major farms, they had just gotten their first diamond. When I was building my first 6 beacon, they had just gotten their first nether star. And when I defeated the Ender Dragon every single time to open all of the end gates, they had traveled to the end for the first time. What was the difference? The problem had to be them, right? Why was I outpacing them so much? I asked around and got the same answer from people. Doesn't the game end at the Ender Dragon? For some reason, that idea was just completely bizarre to me. I had never really focused on the dragon as my end goal. In fact, it was like the beginning goal of a server for me. Only then would I have an elytra and access to shulker boxes and an access to an ender, which was just like a prerequisite to building all the stuff I wanted to build. Of course, there had to be a knowledge check. I had played and obsessed myself with Minecraft more than anyone, so of course I was ahead than everybody else. So I looked at mod packs, Better MC, Raspberry Flavored, Melatonin, but the same issue arose again and again. I constantly outpaced the people near me once more. I learned quicker than everybody else with all the quirks in the mod packs, all the different mods, because I had spent more time with mods and spent more time with mod packs. Once you learn one, the other ones get a lot easier to learn, and then there festered a familiarity gap that made it really difficult for me to play with my friends. I took a long step back and realized that there had to be something besides that. If I was going to start the server, I had to start one that people wanted to play on. So I tried adding incentives for people to play. In the realm of Hermitcraft Season 10, I added permits. Kind of the idea that people would get their individual little permits and people would claim individual little permits that would allow them to sell a certain item. I tried to create a pseudo free market. Obviously, that's not going to work in the realm of Minecraft, but just to get people engaged. If people have an item to sell, if they have something to grind towards, then that's the thing that they're going to produce the most of. And so then they have an extrinsic goal to play the game. The actual result, however, is that the experienced players dominated and the less experienced players kind of fell into this weird limbo where they didn't know how to farm the thing that they wanted to farm. So then they asked me to farm that thing, and then I ended up building the farm for them, and then we're back to square one. For these players, the permit system did nothing. It helped raise the engagement for these super committed players like me, but did nothing for the non-committal players. I asked around trying to get a sense of why activity had been low. I got the same answer time and time again, that time and work constrained them from playing as much. There was no fix to that from my end. But I heard from a friend of mine a very, very interesting problem that she had had with the game. This friend is super employed, she works a lot, and she doesn't have as much time to play as I do. And she told me this really, really interesting tidbit. You guys move so fast that I don't feel like it's worth to do anything because it's already been done. I struggled to come to terms with that. But the more I thought about it, the more it kind of made sense. If your scope of Minecraft is beating the Ender Dragon, then for me, the type of player who speedruns the Ender Dragon within a day and then tries to get everything as fast as possible so I can start building my huge farms, that part of the game, the entire game for you, has just been completed. Where the game starts for players like me is where the game ends for players like them. So how do you bridge this gap? I thought really long and hard about this. Maybe mods held people back, but we've seen that doesn't work anymore. Maybe if I slowed down some of my play and I just didn't beat the Ender Dragon, maybe that would help. But the same issue arose. If I didn't beat an Ender Dragon, I'd still play just as much and do everything besides the Ender Dragon. The Ender Dragon itself wasn't the problem, it was my level of gameplay. So I looked inside. Could it have been an issue with how I played the game? When a new Minecraft server starts, it ruins my productivity for at least a week. I spend every waking moment on the server, innovating, building, designing, crafting. Just every single moment is spent on the server, while all of my friends lag behind. I burn myself out within a week. And looking at how most people play, this isn't how they play the game. They don't super grind the game like crazy, build extremely massive farms, and then burn themselves out this quickly. They usually take more pace, take more time with the game. For most people, the 2-week Minecraft phase isn't a thing. The lifespan of a server is not 2 weeks. It can be multiple months. It can be years. But you have to pace yourself from burning out. Take my current SMP, for example. It's a lightly modded, create-based SMP with maybe around 10 to 15 players. I blitzed through the SMP in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, I had done everything I had ever wanted to do on the SMP. And because of that, player interest fell. Now you might ask, how does that cause player interest to fall? Well, when I burn out, that means the people that I'm closest with are gonna burn out. That means that now nobody's in the server, so nobody plays, and the people that are stuck wondering where everybody is are just alone. There's nobody else to play with them anymore because we burnt ourselves out so quickly. This is the worst thing that can happen to a server. One person burns out and it causes a cataclysmic domino effect that burns everybody else out. So the takeaway is that your SMP might be dying because you play too much. You have to find the right circle to have an SMP. And oftentimes that conflicts with people's busy schedules. So you have to make a choice. Either one, fill your SMP with people who have the exact same commitment level as you, which is near impossible and probably doesn't include your friends. Or two, match your commitment level to the average commitment level of your SMP. This is hard as I, like you, just want to play on my server. I just want to spend as much time as possible. But if I do that, I know I'm going to burn out. I've only found one other solution to this: to play more other forms of Minecraft. If I want my server to survive, if I don't want to feel behind, then I have to find other forms of Minecraft that I enjoy, whether that be mod packs, servers. If I really want to play Minecraft, I have to be able to diversify my portfolio so I play other forms of Minecraft, including the SMP that I'm currently on. You can't change your friends and make them play more. You can't change your friends' behavior. You can only change how you act. I hope you learned something from my experience with servers, and I hope your next SMP is super successful. Right now, I'm currently running a very small SMP with just a few of my friends. We're playing Society Sunlit Valley, and we only play when most of us are online. And so that keeps us all engaged because we all really, really want to play as much as possible. We're all biting at it. But we can only play when a bunch of people are online, so that keeps our engagement together because it keeps our engagement above our expectation levels. If you enjoy this level of content, if you enjoyed this kind of video essay style, please leave a like, comment, obviously subscribe. Make sure to just kind of interact so the algorithm pushes my stuff up because I have just started YouTube and I'm really loving it. Have a great day and take care of yourself.